Welcome to Loud and Lifted Quick Lift, where we take a full episode and boil it down to the biggest takeaways and action items you can actually use. Today, we're talking about one of those topics that makes a lot of women instantly uncomfortable, asking for more. More money, more opportunity, more recognition, more of what you have actually earned. I sat down with Bhavana Smith, founder of Until There Are Nine, and this conversation was so good because it wasn't just fluffy advice. It was real, practical, and honestly the kind of stuff women should be taught way earlier in their careers. Bhavana shared that for years she did what so many of us do. She accepted the offer. She didn't negotiate, and she assumed if she did the work, she would just keep moving up and things would work out. Then one recruiter asked her a simple question one day: "What's your number?" Instead of throwing out a number, she asked what they were offering, got a range that was much higher than what she would have asked for, and ended up with nearly a 70% salary increase. That moment changed everything and eventually led her to the work that she does today, now helping women advocate for compensation and promotion. Let's get into the key takeaways and action items. Takeaway number one: hard work is not the argument. Business value is. A lot of women fall into the same trap, taking on more, handling more, fixing more, and quietly hoping someone will connect the dots and reward them for it. But that is not usually how it works. More effort does not automatically equal more pay. More responsibility does not automatically equal recognition. I mentioned in the episode, I am totally guilty of this. Early on in my career, I kept taking on more and more, and I thought I would just get compensated for it eventually. I never asked. And guess what? I never got the pay that went along with the responsibilities that I'd taken on. And that was one of the strongest points in Bhavana's conversation. You cannot build your case on just being loyal, helpful, overextended, or exhausted. You build it on facts, on scope, on results, on value, and actually asking. If your role has grown, that is not an emotional conversation. It's a business conversation. The company hired you for one level of responsibility and compensation. If this has materially changed, your pay or title should be evaluated too. That does not make you difficult. It makes you aware. Bhavana also gave us a really useful framework for thinking about your impact: people developer, business operator, value creator. And ideally, at least one of your examples has a dollar sign, a percentage, or a measurable result tied to it. Because "I work really hard" is super easy to dismiss, but "I improved retention by 12% is not. Action item here: create a one-page value tracker for yourself. Start by listing everything that has expanded in your role over the last few months. Then organize your accomplishments in the people developer, business operator, or value creator category. Under each one, write down the wins, additional responsibility, and outcomes that you have driven. Then quantify as much as you can. Where did you save time, improve a process, grow revenue, support the team, or increase efficiency? That becomes the foundation for a stronger, more factual compensation and promotion conversation. Takeaway number two: timing is not a detail, it's a strategy. This was one of my favorite parts of the conversation because I have seen this from both sides. Bhavana was very clear. Asking for a raise during the performance review is too late, because by then, budgets and promotion decisions were likely made months earlier. Budget timing is the one concern. The other is just understanding the current business environment. I shared a story in the episode about an employee asking for a major raise right after a meeting where we had just talked about missing budget and trying to protect the business. It completely hurt her credibility because of her timing. Not because she never should have asked, but because she was clearly not paying attention to what was happening around her. So yes, be confident, but also read the room, read the company, read the budget cycle, and read the moment. Action item here: figure out when your company actually makes compensation and promotion decisions. Hint, it's probably in the early fall. It's not when they announce them, and it's not when your performance review is. Then work backwards and plan your conversation ahead of that window. Takeaway number three: visibility matters way more than women want it to. Here we are back again to the importance of exposure. Bhavana said something really important. You can't negotiate your value if you can't recognize it and articulate it. And then the communication has to happen throughout the year, not just once a year during performance reviews. She also talked about how women often worry that sharing wins feels like bragging. Her reframe was great. Think of it as communication and stakeholder management. Ask yourself, who needs to know this? That's smart. That's strategic. That's not bragging. That's making sure the people making decisions actually know what you contribute. And exposure beyond your direct manager matters too, because a lot of promotion and raises and decisions are made by people other than just your manager. You want your name to come up in the room and people to nod and to agree with that. Action item here, pick 3 people outside your direct manager who should know more about your work. Then think about how you can increase visibility naturally. Project updates, cross-functional collaboration, recap emails, presenting results, or simply being more intentional about who is in the loop. Takeaway number 4, ask better questions, especially when you're taking on a new role. Bhavana gave us one of the best lines for job offers. Never ever give your number. If you can avoid it, ask them for the range. Ask how they determined it. Ask what criteria places someone at the low, middle, or high end of that range. That keeps you from negotiating against yourself. She also made the point that companies usually have this budgeted range and they're going to start at the lower end. And it's not because they're evil cartoon villains, but because businesses are business. If you accept it immediately, they just save money. That's why asking questions matters. Action item, next time you're discussing a new role, use these questions. What is the range for the role? What criteria determines where someone falls in the range? What would distinguish someone at the top of the range from someone at the bottom? And the final takeaway, when you make your ask, stop talking. Honestly, this was a mic drop moment, great at the end of an episode. Bhavana said women often make the ask and then immediately start softening it. We explain, we qualify, we add personal details, we start backpedaling in real time. Instead, make the ask, then just stop. Let the silence do its job. Yes, the silence feels long and it feels uncomfortable. And to the other person, they're probably just thinking about what you just asked. So it feels like a normal pause. You do not need to break the silence. I know it's hard. Action item, before your next compensation or promotion conversation, write out your ask in one clean sentence and then practice saying it out loud in the car, in front of a mirror. Just say it multiple times until you're comfortable saying what you're asking for, giving them the business case and the rationale, and then be quiet. Weirdly hard, very powerful. So if I were to leave you with the biggest message from this quick lift, it is this. You are allowed to advocate for yourself. You are allowed to ask better questions. You are allowed to understand your value in business terms. And you are definitely allowed to stop waiting for someone else to magically notice. Because your career is too important to leave up to vibes and hope. If you haven't already done so, please listen to the full episode from Bhavana. It is packed with great negotiation information. If this message hit, share it with a friend. And until next time, stay loud and stay lifted.